Okay, guys, today I want to talk about tendons. I've had lots of tendon problems. My shoulders are kind of bad. I I don't know what happened, but it's in pain because a few years ago I was spamming lateral raises, this one, and these muscles are not super strong, and I think I might have damaged them, and I think those are the tendons or something. Basically, there are muscles, and then there are everything that are not muscles. I haven't researched this that much, but everything that are not muscles, they repair slower than muscles because they don't get as much blood flow. Joints, tendons, and anything else. So I've also had an injury around my wrist recently when I fell down, and it's been kind of paining me. So what I want to talk about here is we have to train our wrists and ankles and joints and stuff like that. So then when we do fall or when we work out in the future, we won't have to face these problems. Oftentimes the limiter of our muscle training is actually the tendons because training tendons is slower than training muscles because of the recovery problem, right? Before I had a limiter in my knees, these knees. Like this is my knee. See, can you see? So when I wanna extend it, I actually face the dilemma where I feel like my knees are gonna rip off. That's just a feeling, by the way. So learning from my shoulders, what I did was I kept the weight low, quite low enough, and I kept training at that intensity for a long time to make sure that my tendons were developed enough to withstand the heavy weights. Because my muscles can withstand heavy weights, but I don't know if my knees can because in the past it hurt. Like it have random times where it would hurt when I walk and stuff, like an ACL, what they say, but the ACL is here. Oh damn, here I think. Oh, so sorry. I hit the camera. I hit you. So sorry. ACL, I'm pretty sure is at the feet, at the ankles of the feet. Achilles tendon, I think. Which is also a tendon, right? So, in order to not tear it, I would train. I would stay patient and I would train at low weight for a long time. And now I feel like I can hit the maximum power of my muscles and I would not feel any pain in my knees at all. As a matter of fact, those random pains in my knees, I haven't been feeling them for so long. This is one of the only things that I successfully cured in my body. Like oh, I used to have this sickness, but then I fixed it by this. This is one of the things that I fixed myself. Very cool. Looks like I have boobs. Oh. Okay, so what are the other things you can train? So I was running the other day and I noticed, what if I was running and my ankles just go like this? So this is the hand, it's more flexible. But basketball players, there was this guy, I don't know who, but he would train his ankles so that even if it was like this or like this, it like turned around. Those ankle breakers, it would still be within his range of flexibility. Because say you can do this, but then if you reach here, it's like an injury. But because he trains until this range, when he falls or slips and it reaches this range, it's actually not an injury because he already trains towards here. It's just this is his normal range by now. There are people like the Flexi guy on YouTube Shorts who train that also. And what he does, I've heard is he does ballerina training, where ballerina would have, because they stand on their tippy toes and stuff, they would have to train their ankles. And their ankles are actually super strong. If you've heard of jujitsu, the martial arts where you break shoulders and knees and ankles and all that, they actually rely on the breaking of the things other than muscles, the tendons and stuff. But when there's a story I read somewhere where somebody trained ballerina style, and that allowed him to spar with a BJJ guy, and he held out because his ankles were BJJ proof. They were break proof. So training the ankles actually doesn't mean training flexibility. The flexi guy, he said that you move it here and then you use muscles to pull it back here. That's what ankle training is. It's not just pulling it here as much as possible and then feeling the sting of the pain. I don't think that's what makes the ankles strong. I think what makes it strong is you pull it here and then you pull it back here with muscles. So you get the difference, right? Like I put it here. Well, obviously, I'm just using one hand. So imagine I'm forcing it out of its range, out of its normal range. And I just held that for like 20 seconds. I don't think that's the training we're supposed to be doing. What I do is on my ankles, I would twist them and then I would use muscles to return them, which is very awkward and weird. It feels weird and it's painful because my bones are meeting the floor. I'm standing on my bones, but I think I'm going in the right direction, and by at some point, I'm gonna realize what the feeling is like. So at the moment, I'm very interested in foolproofing all my tendons and joints and all that, so I don't have to deal with this BS of shoulder pains and falling down and having my ankles be in pain. Okay, so basically, if you haven't paid attention to your joints and tendons, you need to start paying attention to it now. And it is done by long term, low weight workouts or training specific joints and tendons until it reaches to the point where you're confident that even if you fell while running, you slipped, or someone does an ankle breaker on you, or maybe just when you train, you feel confident that your tendons and your stuff won't tear. Bye, guys.